Hey everyone, I'm Matt,
I'm Deanna.
and this is Chasing Balance. And in today's episode, we're talking about our opinion with our kids using social media. All right. So, the premise of this show is to talk about why we don't let our kids use social media.
Yep.
Um, and I guess a quick story behind why we don't let our kids use social media. And it really didn't start with the social media aspect of it. I don't know if you remember this or not, but our kids first got their Kindles
hmm
and they were using like Minecraft on it
Oh, yes. I do remember.
and they were using Roblox.
hmm
And we thought, it's a kid's Kindle,
hmm
it's safe, it's Amazon Kids.
Yeah.
So, we thought that they could just, use whatever app that they can download on there because, you pay $3.99 a month or $2.99 a month or whatever it is, and they get to download all these free
Yeah.
games
And
and
it's all
apps.
secure.
And it's all secure. So one day we kind of peer over their shoulder and we're like, what are you playing? I'm like, oh, we're playing Roblox. I'm like, what is that? And it was, now if you can picture this, it was a content creator made
hmm
Roblox room or server for kids to get into. And it was set up in like a hospital setting, with curtains and everything divided
Yep.
off. And the theme was Peppa the Pig. However, you were going around and murdering Peppa Pig.
Yes.
So there was blood, there was knives,
Yeah.
Peppa Pig was dead,
Yeah. It was pretty gruesome.
and this was on
Very disturbing.
a kid's Kindle.
And obviously, I mean, or not obviously, but since then, it has morphed even worse.
Yeah.
It has
Hmm.
gotten like a lot worse. Like, this was probably what, 6 years ago
It
that
was a
that
while
happened?
ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And since then, it has gotten a lot worse
Hmm.
on Minecraft or I'm sorry, on Roblox.
Yeah.
But I mean, once that happened, once we realized it was banned in our house.
Yeah. Roblox was banned. Minecraft was definitely, uh, we definitely were checking in on even kid approved apps
Yeah.
after that. So it kind of woke us up. Not that we were like oblivious or anything to the stuff,
Yeah.
but it woke us up to be like, even the kids' content is not safe.
Yeah. It's not 100% safe. And then that also led me down a rabbit hole of other things
Mm.
where it's like, okay, well, even kids' YouTube wasn't really safe. It's not completely secured and
No.
locked down.
Yeah.
So then I banned YouTube.
Yeah.
I just went
So,
on a banning spree. I took
so,
away everything because I didn't know enough.
so on a side note, a thing that I saw is that they are doing deep fake things with AI. This is a new thing that they're doing, that they're finding out online, where they're taking like these characters, like kid-friendly characters, but they're making AI look at deep web or dark web stuff of like murder, and they're having that transposed into kid stuff. So it's like really satanic, like scary kid
Why?
stuff. I don't know. Just to
What's wrong with
mess up our
people?
youth. Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously, like if the intelligence is there, can we please just like channel it to
Do it for
make it
good.
yes. Like if
Yeah.
something was created to help me do laundry, yes, 100%.
You think our kids would be
Something
interested in that?
but I don't care. Like,
No, I understand what
you
you're
know,
saying.
why?
I don't know. So yeah, they're deep faking stuff they're
And then
basically.
they should find out who's creating that stuff and then like thoroughly investigate and like interview that person and be like, "What's going on in your noggin there?
Yeah.
Like, why are you thinking we should attack children?"
So it's all messed up.
It is.
Everything on the internet is going to be able to is is really going to be able to either attach or connect to our kids somehow, some way. So even if it's on a kid's app that's supposed to be secure by this large corporation like Amazon or a large corporation like YouTube that has YouTube Kids, they still can't control everything that gets put on there, right? They just can't.
This is very uplifting.
So,
I didn't know this is the direction that we were going. So
well,
thank you for adding to my overwhelming anxiety
I mean,
of keeping
I
your
guess
kids
ignorance
secure.
is bliss, right? Why not know what is out there instead of just being like, well, I think they're okay. So so let's start off with the social media
Okay.
stuff on how, like, the brief overview of current social media right now,
Okay.
right? Like, let's talk about what you and I see as adults when we log on to social media. Like, I know we both have our own algorithm,
Yeah, we do.
but
Yours is very fucked up.
so we both have our own algorithm, but the thing is that no matter what you look at, it's completely different from when, my first social media platform that I was on, which was MySpace, it's completely different.
It is.
So,
Yeah.
you'd log on to MySpace when you first were on social media and you'd be like, oh, who's got some new songs, or
Yeah.
what song is the most popular on somebody's profile
Mhm.
right now, or who am I going to put in my top 10? Who am I pissed
Yes.
off at and
That
remove
was the
them?
big one.
Yeah.
Who's in a relationship? Who's in a
Yeah.
complicated
Yeah.
relationship?
How do I get those like sparkly backgrounds on my
Yes. Do
to
you
line
remember
up
that?
correctly?
It
Yeah.
was like you had to like actually do coding
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like web
Yeah.
stuff.
You had to find like HTML to put
Yeah,
on there and all that stuff.
that was fun.
So it went from that, like the worst thing that could happen to you basically is maybe a little online comment of like maybe your song sucks or something. But
Yeah,
really, if you got removed from somebody's top 10 or top five, you're like, oh
yeah,
my God, what happened?
yeah,
That's the worst thing that can happen on there.
yeah,
Um, and now, when you log in, I mean, we have news of, horrible news, of, wars, crimes. It's
yeah.
basically
The
like,
state of the world.
yeah, I mean, it's basically on social media is what the reason why we don't watch the news stations. You
Hmm.
turn the news on and it's someone was murdered, someone was dealing drugs, somebody, I don't know, some congressperson
It's something.
slept with somebody else.
Yeah.
It's just all bad stuff, and that's all we get fed on social media. Like there's almost never anything uplifting.
I've learned how to garden.
Have you?
Yeah. I mean, mind you, half my garden
So it's
died, but
and
but
but
still, like that. Those are the
see
small
what
elements that I was able to pull.
so I guess and once again it could be the algorithm,
It
right?
could be, yeah.
So I'll say it this way: if you're listening or watching stuff that's gardening, or if you're listening and watching like comedians like their
Mhm.
shorts and stuff,
Yeah.
you'll typically get fed that stuff,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But
So
unfortunately, I feel no matter what your algorithm is, whether it's like, you watch stand-up comedy shorts or if you watch gardening videos or things of
yeah.
that stuff, you're still going to get shared the negative things in this world.
Yeah, you're gonna get it's somehow gonna make its way through.
Yeah,
Whether it's like mild negativity or like full blown,
right.
like the world's falling apart.
That's what catches people's attention, right?
Right.
War, sex, drugs, crime. That's something that typically really grabs your attention. That's probably why news stations, put all that stuff on there instead of feel good stories and the
Yeah.
good things that are going on in the community.
Yeah.
They'd rather report about something that's, jaw dropping or, the next hot topic about
Mm.
who was killed, murder, drive-by shooting, things of that
Yeah.
nature.
Your neighborhood is under attack. We'll
Yeah.
tell you about this at 9
Yeah. And it's
o'clock.
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I think more scare tactics are what is sold, shared,
Yeah.
promoted on social media. Um,
From the
s-
adult perspective, I think, yes.
yeah,
From the kid perspective, I think that it's there,
mhm,
but then there's also the element of like the cyberbullying
right.
when you bring that into because that was never a thing when we were younger.
No, I mean the biggest cyberbullying that I could think of would be
Prank phone
getting
calls.
prank phone calls, getting removed from the top 10 on
Yeah.
MySpace,
Hmm.
and I don't know, maybe being ignored or blocked on AIM.
Oh, yes. Oh my
AIM.
gosh.
Like, those were good times.
You would just, like, sit there in front of your computer for, like,
Yeah,
hours and
just
just,
wait
like,
to chat.
wait for them to, like, respond or, like,
Yeah,
see it
yeah,
or,
yeah, I
like,
mean
come back because you know how you it was, like, basically like Teams.
yeah,
You could, like, flag away or, like,
yeah,
there.
be right
I don't
back,
yeah,
BRB,
there we
and
go,
all that stuff.
BRB. Yep.
Um,
Good times.
kinda went off topic there a little
Sorry.
bit. But no,
It
that
was
was
nostalgia.
yeah,
It
I mean, it was good times, and I mean, you couldn't, speaking of, like, bullying stuff, you couldn't talk shit about somebody,
was Mhm,
you couldn't bully them
mhm.
until you saw them at school the next day, and
Exactly.
typically, like, the keyboard warriors that we see out here now
Mhm.
wouldn't do that to your face.
Nope.
So, I'm sorry, this gets me heated.
Yeah.
I just can't stand negativity, the people online, the people that
Yeah.
share horrible stuff, and the people that try to go after young kids and try to manipulate their minds or do worse.
Yeah.
So I wanted to highlight some statistics that are in studies on the impact of early social media exposure. Um, an article online stated that children who use social media at a young age are at higher risk for experiencing negative impacts like bullying, low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, poor sleep habits, and body image issues.
Mhm.
This kind of goes back to, when we were talking about, parents making friends or parents' social life,
Yeah.
that episode, how we're
Yeah.
talking about, people on social media portray this image that they
Yes.
have a perfect
Perfect.
life,
Mhm.
right?
And then you feel guilty about the life that you live because
Right.
it doesn't align with the way that theirs is
Right. Or
portrayed
you don't
as.
you don't look like this person even though they
Exactly.
have three filters on
Right.
right then. Or so yeah, that can definitely hurt your image. It hurts your vision of yourself mentally, of your body image,
Mhm.
or even your class, your social class of friends and things of that nature. Um, so excessive social media use can significantly contribute to these problems. Once again, cyberbullying, low self-esteem, anxiety, depression, poor sleep from
Yeah.
depression, and random thoughts going through your mind about what you've seen on social media. And typically these are due to the factors of inappropriate content, and pressure to conform to unrealistic standards when trying to compare yourself to others online.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's too much
Yeah,
for kids and their psyche
it is.
to
That's
sort through.
right. Yeah.
They're already trying to figure it all out, and then you just add somebody else's opinion into the mix.
Mhm.
And I mean, especially like, okay, if you think about it, like middle school and high school would probably be the time frame in which kids start to inquire about social media
Yeah.
or like wanting it. And
Mhm.
those years are so challenging
Yeah. Yeah. I
as
mean,
is.
so Preston, so I guess our experience, probably go out of order of my order notes, but going over our experience, we started off with, the Kindles and stuff, and obviously we had that issue with the roadblocks. And then we went on to Kids Messenger, which I see what Zuckerberg was trying to do there, get, younger age kids on Facebook, which they weren't really on Facebook, but they at least had that name branded in their psyche, right?
Right. Yeah. It
And
was safe.
it was safe, quote
Right.
unquote, right? Kids Messenger was just a freaking headache because the kids didn't know how to type, they didn't know how to text. I mean, it was just, they'd report each other
Yeah.
just to be jerks,
Right. Yeah.
so that was dumb. And then I want to say about 2 years ago, our oldest, maybe when he was 10, he started inquiring about social media because, you know, uh, the school friends were
Yeah.
able to use TikTok which was baffling to me.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to use TikTok or go on YouTube Shorts and all those other social media platforms? And we
Yep.
were just like, no, like,
Absolutely
dude,
not. This isn't a
I don't
discussion.
even use that.
Right.
Um, I haven't even I never even used TikTok until we started this podcast and started putting stuff out there. And I guess you could call me a hypocrite for it, but I'm actually putting good stuff out there or, conversation pieces out there instead of just dance videos and which, you know what,
No,
dance
I
videos are
liked that,
okay, but
yeah.
like other stuff, do you know what I'm saying? I'm not putting garbage. I don't
Right,
feel
yeah.
like we're putting garbage out there.
No, yeah.
Um, so yeah, we put our foot down, put the line in the sand. No, no social media. And I know we're gonna have to let go of those reins here in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I said that we weren't even gonna discuss it until he's, like, 15,
Yeah, yeah. So
and I'm sure that I'll once I get to that point. I mean, I tend to do that. I tend to put, like, unrealistic timelines on things, and then
yeah,
I'm like, "I'll do future Deanna will handle this."
yeah.
And then it comes and I'm like, "Ah,
So
future Deanna does not want to do this."
so Preston asked for it. You
Yeah,
told him when you're about 15,
yeah.
right? Now, I don't know, and this is probably a conversation that, we should have with him, maybe, but, is there peer pressure for you to use social media? I don't know if there is,
I
like,
don't think there's peer pressure.
yeah,
Honestly, I think that it's because all of his friends still share all of like the stuff. They'll like text him YouTube short videos
yeah,
or like TikTok videos. And then he gets them and he can't watch the TikTok stuff because he doesn't have an account. And
and that
then he can watch like the YouTube shorts because iPhone isn't as secure as like Google.
and that's what's crazy
And it
is
drives me
that
crazy. Yeah.
you can so our 2 kids have cell phones, and we lock them down. We're under the parent app on Google.
Yeah. It's a
But what
family account.
Yeah, so what's
Mm,
crazy is we can block YouTube, we can block all these other apps, but they can still get shared messages with
mhm.
videos in them and watch them. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't block the content that comes through text messaging. So none of these corporations have this shit figured out. They just don't.
No.
Um, we approve the games that they're allowed to, we sound like
Dictators?
dictators, yeah, but whatever. We approve the games that are on there, and sometimes they get pushed free games for no reason.
Yeah. And I mean, okay, so then let's talk about that. So my mindset is the world sucks.
Yeah,
And it will slowly but surely come into place once our kids start to get older and they'll realize how shitty the world is. And they'll have to navigate that, right? So I can't keep them in a bubble forever.
right.
I'm not going to be able to do that.
Mhm.
But right now I can. And if they have questions about things, I will honestly share those
Yeah,
answers. But I would rather them ask me those questions than find it on YouTube or find it on Insta or find it on TikTok
yeah,
and then given the wrong information. And then,
and that's the fucked up thing because, I mean, anything you wanna know,
right.
right? Like, you can search anything you want, like, "Should I get a dog?" And it'll tell you reasons why you should get a dog. "Should I not get a dog?" And it'll tell you reasons why not to get a dog.
Right.
Should I, do this? Should I do that? And you'll get answers for no matter what, no matter
Right.
if the answer is wrong, whether it's a
Hmm.
serious question, a not serious question. So you can get fed tons of information that is just absolutely crap that they should not have in their minds whatsoever.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, I mean, but with that being said, my mentality is to try my damnedest to raise our kids like they live in the 80s, but in 20, in the 2020s,
Yeah.
you know? So we have those limitations as much as we can. And social media is not something that I'm going to budge on
No.
because, like I've said 100 times when he asks me, it's literal trash.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we've always said that if it comes to something educational,
Mhm.
if you want to learn how to play a new instrument, if you want to learn how to do something, we will find that on YouTube if you want to watch a video on that.
Yep.
But we aren't going to sit there and watch a bunch of YouTube shorts because that's not going to further anything. It's just going to make you into a potato.
So the risks of social media for kids, we talked about anxiety, comparison culture is huge,
Hmm.
right? Like comparing yourself to somebody else, what they have, what you don't have, um, giving the child low uh, self esteem off of. either image or physical possessions or what the kids on vacation or
Yeah.
something like that, and maybe the other kids can't afford it. And then there's FOMO, fear of missing out and not quite measuring up to other kids, lives, you know, um,
Status.
status that they see online.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the mental health and well-being is one of the risks for social media and the reason why we don't allow our kids to use social media
Yeah.
and then exposure to inappropriate content. And boy, do we have a story for you guys about this.
Yeah.
So our oldest has a cell phone that is, for the most part, 95% lockdown.
Yeah.
And then he loves music just like his mom and dad do.
Yes. Music is huge in our house.
Yep. So we got him a iPod Touch.
Mhm.
They don't make the like iPod Nanos anymore where it doesn't have a screen on it or anything
Mhm.
like that. Where the good old days where you didn't have to have it connected to internet.
Mhm.
So you have to basically buy an iPhone that doesn't have a plan,
Right.
basically. So that's what he got. Well, some of the limitations on there of us locking it down. I was kind of lazy. I couldn't figure out how to lock it down, or I had to do something with my, I've Apple likes to make everything so convoluted and difficult to
Yeah.
even sign into frickin' iTunes.
So, yeah, I mean, before we get into this story, it's important to note that we are 95% Google family.
Yep.
Everything that we have is
Android.
like Google
Yep.
related.
Yeah.
But with the exception of one iPad that is ancient
Yeah.
and Preston's iPod Touch.
Yes. Yep.
So when it comes to Apple, we are 70 years old.
Yeah. Just not an Apple family, but
No.
we probably just lost our only subscriber because of
Right.
that.
It is so challenging to figure out, and I
Yeah.
just don't have the it's not important enough for me to really care.
Right.
But it is in the fact that my kid uses it, so I wanna make sure it's safe. But
Right.
also it's like it makes me hate it even more when I try to figure it out.
Right. So the dangers of watching inappropriate content. So
Yeah.
this is one of the factors. So on this iPod Touch that we didn't have lockdown.
Mhm.
One night, our oldest cannot fall asleep. He does not want to stay in his room, and he wants to sleep in mom and dad's bed. And he's 11, which I guess isn't crazy out of the ordinary, but it just came out of nowhere.
Right. So I instantly went to, "Oh my gosh, he's sick,"
Yeah.
or he used to have, like, night terrors when he was
Yep.
very, very young, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, are we going through this again?"
Right.
So then, yeah, he slept with us that night,
Right.
but it wasn't in the morning. We were like, "Okay, we need to discuss this."
So yeah, so he was talking about, I don't know, I'm seeing things.
Yeah.
Says I'm seeing things. I think I need to see a psychiatrist.
Yes.
And now, yes, he's very smart,
Yes.
but not to the point of where he needs to self-diagnose himself to go see
Yeah.
a psychiatrist. So I am racking my brain trying to figure out why in the hell, what happened? Like
Mhm.
what happened to where, is there something in his room that's scaring him? Is there something in his closet? Is there something that's moving that, is an inanimate
You go
object?
full detective mode.
Right.
You turn on the fan, you sit there in silence and darkness
Yeah.
trying to see.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Trying to see,
is his posters moving?
is there a light shining through that
Yes.
shouldn't be shining through? Is
You
there
use
something
all
different?
that like cop knowledge
Right. Yeah.
and you just dial in.
So he goes to school. We grab his iPod Touch. I go through it and I'm looking through the text messages. There's nothing there.
Right.
Looking through the Facebook
Songs.
messages,
Yeah.
songs, whatever, just going through everything. And I'm like, let me look at his history. So I look
Mhm.
at the browser history in Safari, and it's a bunch of YouTube shorts. So I'm just scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And then you see 3 or 4 of them that were people like the most scary hidden people in
Oh yeah.
bedrooms or spirits or something in
Yeah.
bedrooms. And it was
It
just
was
like,
like paranormal,
yep,
like dead walkers or death walkers
yeah,
style
night
stuff.
walkers,
Yes,
all
there we
that
go.
stuff. and you would see, a face hiding under a bed that was kind of like blurry, or, red eyes lit up someplace else or whatever. So obviously when he came home, we called him on his BS that he wasn't looking up something, and we told him, um, that it wasn't real, or he doesn't have to worry about it. And obviously he stayed in his bedroom that night, and he was perfectly fine once we had that conversation with him. But it's just this bullshit that's online that kids can come across,
Yeah,
even if it's meant for adults,
yeah,
that the kids can come across and completely alter their sleep schedule,
yeah.
their mental capabilities of understanding what is real and what is fake. Um, so,
And I
you know,
I even told him, I'm like, this is the reason why we said no.
right.
Like you're living the reason why we said no.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's so much stuff out there that is not for you that you're gonna fumble on once you start going down rabbit holes.
Yep.
And you're going to and the problem with him is that he's so freaking smart and
Mhm.
he's so creative
Yep.
that his like the creative side of his brain just locks in on it and just does not like it just embellishes and embellishes and embellishes.
And this is what I'm saying, like, when I'm talking about our algorithm, like, if I click on something that's some crap about Elon Musk and Donald Trump, that is what I'm going to be fed. If you click on something that's gardening, dancing, whatever,
Yeah.
that is what you're going to be fed.
Mhm.
So if he clicks on this scary stuff, that is what he's going to be fed.
Exactly.
And this was another conversation that we had with him. Like, dude, you really messed up. No more YouTube, even though he wasn't supposed to be using it. No more YouTube shorts. But you really messed up, because there is so much great educational stuff out there that you could be learning for music, for football, for baseball, all
Yeah.
this stuff that's on the internet.
Mhm.
But we as, humans, as a society, not just our kid, we decide to go watch this trash
Yes.
instead of actually learning a new skill and learning something better. And I can't fault the 12-year-old for doing that, right?
Mhm. Right. And I mean, and to that point, he was like when we had that conversation where we were like, it's trash, it's trash. And then I'm like, when you're 15, he like kind of volleyed. And he's like, well, then why do you use it?
Yeah.
And then that made me kind of take a second and self-reflect. And I'm like, I don't know. And then after that, I really reduced
Yeah. Your
the amount,
Instagram time and all
yeah,
that.
my Instagram time. And then that's when I started to like read a lot more
Yeah.
so that he could see that I'm making the smart choices and, you know, trying to be an example that he could follow.
Hmm.
And I mean, granted, I do sometimes struggle.
It's part of life now. It is. And I mean,
But there are times where I just need a good laugh and there's some funny stuff on there.
no, and I get it. And that's the difference. You're watching comedy stuff, or some, influencers that make
Yeah.
jokes about stuff, or parenting
Yes.
and things of that nature. And obviously when football season's around, all I do is watch shorts of
Yes.
Detroit Lions,
Or the other team's just biffing it. Those are my favorite.
just messing up. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's not
Or all the drama. I love all the drama. In
it
football season, I'm sorry.
and
Continue.
it, and it, and it is the algorithm. Once again, if you watch Detroit Lions shorts, you will be fed Detroit Lions stuff, whether it is true
Mhm.
or false.
Right.
You will be fed these algorithms just to get you to click on it. And once you get to click on it, then you're on a website or on a page that's going to get paid for your views. Or if you click off of it and then you go and buy something, then they get paid. So it's just all about making money.
Yes. The
And
amount of clothes that you've bought me just
we're
of pure
not gonna say
influence.
we're not gonna say the name because we're not sponsored by them, but they do look nice on you. Um, so the benefits of delaying social media. Obviously, the kids get to focus on real life connections, right? Like they get to go outside and play. They get to
Yes.
go out and actually ask somebody, "Hey, how was your weekend?" instead of reading about it on Facebook,
Mhm.
right? Focusing on real life connections, um, and developing stronger friendships, face to face social skills,
Yeah.
right? Being able to talk to somebody face to face.
Yeah.
Um, Another benefit is more time for hobbies and activities, right?
Mhm.
Uh, Maybe not in our house because we have switches and electronics and stuff, but at
Yeah,
least they're not mindlessly, aimlessly scrolling,
right.
right? They're actually doing something with their brain or they're talking with their friends while they're playing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
The switches are basically our exception. And then when they do watch shows, I mean, we still have those rules set in place. Like no trash.
Mhm.
Like if you're gonna watch something, have it be like a good heartfelt comedy or like learn from
Some
something.
Adam Sandler or some
No.
Wild Kratts.
Yes, Wild Kratts or anything that's like PBS related.
Yeah.
Or I mean, and then there's like Preston will watch his own set of shows and he likes to read the books and then watch the movie, that style.
Like documentaries and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
He's super into documentaries. I
Yeah.
don't know where he got that from.
I have no clue. I
Mm.
am. How
It's literally the only thing you watch.
and then there's less pressure to conform when they're not on social media,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I don't care who hears this, but I mean, at Preston School, we go to pick them up, and every single kid that walks out of that school looks like a clone.
Yeah, they do. It's very
I mean,
challenging to
they're all
find.
wearing the same the same shoes, same.
Same alpaca haircut.
Yeah, exactly. And I would like to think my kid doesn't conform to them, and maybe that's social media. Maybe it's not. Maybe he's not in, in that group of kids. I don't know. But everyone looks like a clone.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that some of that has to do with social media.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially the girls. And I mean, I think the girls are more influenced a lot when it comes to like all of them walk out of that school as though they have a full-on face routine,
oh yeah.
you
Like
know?
makeup and
Like
everything.
so yeah, all the
Yeah.
make and I granted I at that age
Do you
I
think it's because where we live too?
maybe
The
probably.
school they go to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their kids probably or I'm sorry, those kids are probably parents of the people that are near our age.
Yeah.
And it's like that's like what's hot right now.
Right.
You know, having like this super complex face routine and then they see their moms and maybe their dad's doing it and then they replicate it and then they
Right.
do, you know? That's a whole
So, how to approach the topic with the kids? Um, we had just like in our previous episode, we talk to our kids like adults. We have grown-up
yeah,
conversations with them. We don't beat around the bush. Like, dude, this is trash.
yeah,
That's why we don't want you on there. It's harmful. There's predators out there.
yeah,
There's people that want to put shit into your mind that should not be there and influence you.
yeah.
I mean,
And I think it lands really well with Preston. I think Braden tends to be a little bit more skeptical. Like he he's always like, I'll know the difference between, like a predator or like a scammer,
well,
like
and
a
that's
real
the
person.
messed
I'm
up
like,
thing.
I don't know, bud.
Same thing that happened in my house, right? Like,
Yeah.
not social media, but my older brother, he got to do stuff. My older sister got to do stuff, and if they messed it up,
Oh yeah.
they messed it up for
Mm-mm.
the younger kids, right?
Exactly.
And unfortunately, Preston messed it up for the younger kids, and Braden's not allowed on YouTube. No one's allowed on YouTube. No one's allowed to have their phones unlocked. Nothing like that. Everything has to get approved, and it's a lesson learned, and I'm not going to feel bad about it for protecting my kids from bullying, harassment. Um,
Exactly.
you know,
And I think that it's our approach. Our approach when we went and we talked to them and we're real and we talk to them like they're adults. And then that gives them the opportunity to have that critical thinking and counter and volley with us and
right?
say, like, why are you using it then? And then it gives us that chance to kind of self-reflect, like
Right.
what I'm saying. So I think that our approach to them was the right approach. And it
Hmm.
makes me extremely happy and proud that that type of questioning it falls so naturally to them. It's not like
Yeah.
an argument. It's more like, well, this isn't adding up then.
Right.
And I mean, granted, he did argue,
Hmm.
but still, that I just think that our approach with it is good for our family.
It is good for our family, and we set age appropriate boundaries and expectations for what they're allowed to do,
Yeah.
how mature we think they are,
And I
and,
mean,
and
yeah.
when we're going to let them use it in the future. And also, I just want to say, it has a lot to do with what the parents are watching as well,
Hmm.
right? So if they come across us sitting on the couch with us or whatever, and they see that you're watching a baking show or a comedy show, or
Yeah.
or if I'm over here trying to figure out how to set up this podcast because I couldn't figure out how to set up this roadcaster, I'm doing YouTube research or Google research
Yeah.
to try to figure it out. I'm not just sitting there watching trash.
Exactly. And Braden will even say that. He's like, can I ask Google
Right.
to show me a video on YouTube on how to draw,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah. And
Yep.
he'll sit there and he'll learn how to draw all this
Yep.
stuff and he'll just draw and draw for like an hour. That is okay in my head.
Yeah.
Preston will go upstairs and learn how to play the drums on like a little drum pad.
Right.
And you just hear the cracking of the sticks and everything. That's okay in my head. But just sitting there mindlessly scrolling, no thank you.
No. And
But
it's when you think that they're doing something positive, creative,
mhm,
is when that other shit creeps in. And
exactly.
that is what's going to suck them in.
Exactly. But I mean, it even came down to locking down Disney. Like Preston was questioning why he,
Oh, like why you can watch like Deadpool on Disney?
yeah.
That's
Well,
ridiculous.
and then yeah, because Disney used to be just Disney, and
Hmm.
then Hulu like came in and was like, "Hey guys, you want to party?" And then everything went over there, and now you can get like FX and like all these documentaries and crap on Disney.
Yeah.
So I had to put like age restrictions, and he's like, "Well, why did you put nothing above PG-13?" Like, how old are you, kid?
Yeah.
You do the math. You tell me.
Yeah, we kind of set us up for that because we do sometimes let them watch
But
PG-13
he can
movies,
watch
but yeah.
PG-13. He just
Yeah.
can't watch R or
Oh,
like
no, I see what you're saying.
TVM and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
So how do we navigate and help them navigate peer pressure and external expectations with their friends? And this is actually a question I don't have an answer to because we haven't had this to where it's really been where, I don't think that our kids have been made fun of because they can't go on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or anything like that.
If
Obviously,
they haven't shared it with me, and
yeah.
they tend to share a lot with me.
So you have to teach, it goes back to, talking to them like an adult, talking to them about how, what this is their family rules and teaching them that to have confidence in their own choices and what our family plan is,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Um,
And
that kid has nothing to do with your home life.
right,
That kid
this
has nothing to do with you. So who cares what they say?
yeah. And I sometimes even say like, "Oh, that sounds like a great idea for their family."
Right.
But that's not how it works in ours.
It's okay to be different.
Yeah.
And trust me, as shitty as it sounds, if they're judging, my kid, trust me, I am judging their parents
Right.
are allowing them to use this bullshit at 10, 11, 12 years old. That's insane.
Yeah. They'll even be like, "Give me a what's this kid's last name?" And he's like, "No."
I want to talk to his parents.
Yeah, go
Because
find him.
I guarantee you these parents do not know half of the stuff that
No.
they're texting our kid, half of the stuff that they are sharing.
Yep. And I mean, there's
So,
no avoiding it, right? Like
right,
he can be pulled into like even a text group
right,
and then get bullied within there. We can't stop it from inevitably coming. We can only secure what we can.
right.
So this is what we're securing.
No,
And this is how our family does it. And I'm sure it works great for their family. Kudos to them. But this is how we work.
and you can't, and talking about texting and bullying, so like you can't even protect your kids from, getting them phones, so they can go to their friend's house or we can stay in contact with them while they're at school. Because obviously our society's fucked up when we have school shootings and all that stuff and lockdowns
Right?
put in
Yeah.
place. So I want my kids to have cell phones. But then you also have these scammers calling my kids,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get money out of my kids or debt collectors calling my kids for some reason. So it's
They
all
aren't in
fucked
debt.
up.
They don't
That
have
that's
debt.
the title of the show. It's all fucked up.
The world is falling
Yeah,
apart.
it's all on fire. So, and then another thing is How would you deal with family members and friends or other parents who might not agree with your choice?
Fuck 'em.
Exactly. You stole the words right out of my mouth. This is not your kid. This is not your family. I don't give a
I've
shit
seen
what you
your
think.
work,
Yeah.
and I'm not impressed.
I've seen how your kid acts. Um, so let's highlight the importance of protecting our kids, mental health, helping them not, have all their situations that they are put into, like on social media, for negative aspects, negative image,
Mhm.
negative peer pressure to happen. And once again, we've said it several times before. If it works for your family, it is what it is. This is
Right.
our opinion. This is our experience with it. This is my view on social media. I think it's trash, especially for kids.
Mhm.
Um, Now, when I say trash, the majority is. But there's definitely a lot of comedians out there, a
Yeah,
lot
there's
of
a good, like,
artists,
10% of solid stuff out there.
yeah, that I love, that I enjoy, that I will share with people. And if you are an adult listening to this, which I'm sure you are, if you're sick of the mundane shit that is out there on Facebook and other social media platforms, when I am sick of scrolling through hatred and
Yeah.
bullying and all that stuff, I typically go on a app called Imager, which usually has a lot of like people's
It's
weight.
called Imager or
Imager,
Imgur?
Imager.
It's IMGUR, right?
I am Gur, yeah, but I think it's pronounced Imager.
Imgur.
Imager, because
I
it's
was
images.
I've avoided saying that word for so many times.
So it's Imager or Imgur, whatever.
We're promoting it at
Yeah,
this point.
we're getting paid for this ad right now. We can't pronounce it right.
Right,
So,
yeah.
and they share a lot of like success stories, people getting new jobs, weight loss, people that do a lot of crafts or like cosplay, and it has a lot of positive stuff on there. Um, so that's where I go when I want to get out of this dark hellhole of
Yeah.
Facebook or any of the other social media platforms. And YouTube Shorts is pretty cool for adults, I would say. Um, they have a lot of positive things on there as well, as
I
long
go
as
for
your
my
algorithm is
security
right.
blankets. So I read a book,
Yeah.
or I watch 30 Rock for the 100th time,
Yeah.
or New Girl for the 100th time. I just wrap myself in my little security blanket.
Just get off of
It's
social
my
media.
yeah.
Yeah. Just get off your phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. And
So go ahead.
I think that it's important that we say like Matt has said, if it's working for a family, perfect. For our family, it doesn't work that way because they just haven't responded well in the past. Preston didn't
Yeah.
respond well in the
We've
past.
given chances.
We have given multiple chances. But the main thing that really comes into play for us is just the mindset of eventually they're going to be too old to be in the bubble that I've created. And
Right.
while they're in this bubble, I want to build the best version or help them build the best version of themselves. So once they step outside of this bubble, they'll have a good grasp on their self
A
confidence,
healthy mind.
a healthy mind,
Yeah.
hopefully. I mean,
Mhm.
these are my goals.
Right.
And they'll be able to be in an area where they might interact with bullies
Right.
or cyber bullies or
Peer
what
pressure.
peer pressure.
Yep.
And they'll have enough self-worth to be like, not my cup of tea.
Yeah. Just let it roll off and
Yeah.
keep moving. Yeah.
And that's my goal.
Yeah. So a final thought on finding balance in this digital world that we live in. Find out that what works for you and your family. We know what works, what doesn't work for our family. Please check your children's phones. Please look through them at least once a week just to see what
Mhm.
they're doing, even if they're perfect angels.
Mhm.
Look through their history, look through their chats, look through their deleted stuff. It is your responsibility to see what they are up to.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, there was an incident this morning
yeah,
where press was getting like spammed with like text after text after text, and it
yeah,
was just like a kid. And then of course we interject because he's sleeping. because God
A
forbid he
kid,
wakes up
yeah.
before 11 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah, some kid, some random kid on the phone decided to wake up and be an asshole
Yes.
at 8 o'clock in the morning for no reason.
And I mean, we kind of violated privacy. We opened up
Yep.
his phone.
Yeah.
We looked at the chain. We blocked that kid.
Hmm.
But the second that he woke up, we explained everything and we let him know that we didn't engage,
Yep.
that we didn't act on his behalf.
Hmm.
This is what we did. We're sorry for our actions, but this is kind of our job.
Yep.
And then also, what is this motherfucker's last name?
I need to find him on Facebook. I need to find his parents.
Oh,
So
I'll
yeah.
find him. I'll go
Yeah.
to every single classroom. I'll be like, hey, is your younger sibling
Yeah.
here?
So, yeah, the final thoughts, the final words on this is find your balance with the social media in your house. Please do your due diligence and look at your kids' devices. And I'm not just talking about cell phones. It could be Kindles with roadblocks on it or something like that.
Hmm.
Just see what is being poured into your kids' brains and just make sure that it's safe. I guess we could share a couple of cool things that we found. As far as resources go, PBS Kids, that app is free
Yeah.
on Kindles. It's free on smart TVs. It's got Wildcrafts, a lot of learning channels, things of that nature. If you're looking for cool games on, the iPad or anything like that,
Osmo.
Osmo is an awesome learning game for young kids.
Yeah, and it
Um,
has like a whole soundboard. You can be like a DJ, learn how to,
yeah,
and then they had like a pizza game where you can learn how to be a clerk and also build a pizza.
yeah,
Um, and then there's like costume party and
yeah.
stuff. It's amazing. It's my favorite for them, and
So
I like to play with them
there's a
with
lot of
them.
cool stuff out there where your kid does not have to be connected to the internet.
Hmm.
Um,
And then also endless wordplay.
Oh, yep. Endless Wordplay was a
I think
learning,
that's what it's called.
yeah,
But
learning game.
yeah,
Yep.
those are our top
Yep.
for sure.
Um, so yeah, that's what we have here for our social media episode. If we'd love to hear your comments, whether you think we're
Hmm.
wrong or you think that we're right. We want to know if you've had any experiences like that. Did you have an experience where your kid was scared shitless and they couldn't sleep in their room because of a YouTube short, and then you had to
Oh my
play,
god.
Dick Tracy and figure out why your kid was scared to sleep in his own room? Let
Oh
us
my
know.
gosh.
We'd love to hear it. You can reach us at info@chasingbalance.info. We appreciate you listening. Once again, this is Chasing Balance.
Real life parenting, one conversation at a time.
We'll see you guys later.